In this video, we'll walk you through the process of connecting your accounting software to Ignition. Once connected, Ignition can create invoices automatically and mark them as paid. To begin, navigate to the Apps section on the sidebar menu and select your accounting software. For this example, we'll use Xero. Click on the Connect Your Account button and enter your Xero credentials into the pop-up window that appears. Once logged in, you will be prompted to authorize the connection between Ignition and Xero. After authorization, you'll be redirected back to Ignition. From here, you'll need to review the settings before enabling the integration. Let's review Sync settings. If client name is selected from the drop-down box, each time new invoices are created in Xero by Ignition, the contact name in Xero will be updated to match the client name in Ignition. This is a one-way sync from Ignition to Xero, so changes to the client name in Xero will not be reflected in Ignition. If nothing is selected, no data will sync. We recommend selecting client name to minimize duplicate clients being created. Press Confirm to save. Let's look at invoice settings now. Toggling on Create Invoices determines whether invoices will be created and deployed to Xero by default. We recommend enabling this to save yourself time by allowing Ignition to generate invoices for you. You can adjust this for specific clients under their Invoices tab if required. Please note that this setting doesn't determine whether invoices will be emailed to your client. The toggle for this is found under the General section of the Settings tab and can also be adjusted for specific clients by clicking Edit Client and modifying their email preference. Now choose which Xero sales account you would like all your services to be linked to by default. You can also change the default sales account that specific services are linked to within the service library if required. The default invoice status is the state that your invoices will display in your ledger once generated. We recommend changing this to awaiting payment to save you an extra step during reconciliation. If you set up Ignition payments, this setting will automatically be set to awaiting payment. Show service descriptions on invoice determines whether your invoices display the detailed description of each service. We suggest leaving this turned off as service descriptions can cause invoices to get lengthy. The display setting is where you choose your branding themes for invoices. This information is synced from your Xero account. If you need to add or change these, click on View Xero Branding Themes, which will take you to the relevant section of your Xero account. The first drop-down box is where you set the Xero branding theme that will be used for any invoice where payment is being collected through Ignition. It is important to select a branding theme that does not have your payment details on it and clearly indicates payment is being collected automatically to prevent your client accidentally paying you twice. The second drop-down box is where you set the Xero branding theme for all other invoices that are not having payment collected through Ignition. Select a branding theme that includes details on how your clients can pay you. Terms is where you specify the number of days after issuing an invoice that it will become due. For example, if the number 0 is entered, the due date will be the same day as the invoice day. If you're using Ignition payments, we suggest matching these terms to the collection schedule terms found in the Payments section of your account settings. This will mean that payments will be deducted on the due date of the invoice. Once you've adjusted your invoice settings, click Save. You'll then need to map your ledger tax rates to the relevant tax rate in Ignition. This allows Ignition to apply the correct tax rates when invoices are created. Once mapped, click Confirm. Once you've reviewed your ledger settings, click Enable App to complete the connection. You'll notice an import section that becomes active after enabling the ledger connection. This is where you can import clients from your ledger, convert repeating ledger invoices to Ignition proposals, and import services to your Ignition service library. Xero data will import into Ignition once a day, but if you ever need to push the data through urgently, you can come back to the App section and manually sync the data.